competition! 3 at last! 3 at last!
That's probably the best response you've ever had.
I'm crying inside.
Yes, of course. Of course.
OK, if the parties can't reach agreement, the electorate may be asked to vote again, or if you were one of those who got locked out last night, for the first time. In some areas, the election night fiasco was blamed on large numbers of students turning up to vote just before the polls closed at 10, although, to be fair, they had only just got up. In Northern Ireland, First Minister Peter Robinson lost his seat, which must have been quite a shock for him, though perhaps not as big as the shock he got when he came home to find a 19-year-old shagging his missus.
Harsh, but true.
Earlier in the week, Simon Cowell called for a Tory majority and warned that a hung parliament would be a disaster, as it would mean months of stupid arguments and then a dull compromise. Mind you, that's how they choose the winner of the X Factor. So, Paul, Ian, the old certainties are gone. It's time for unlikely alliances. Paul, could you ever find it in your heart to put your bitter rivalry to one side and form a coalition with Ian?
Yeah, all right.
Go on, then.
I've got a feeling you're going to win this week. Have a look, Lynn, but see how it's done.
Yeah.
This is much better. I love sitting here. This is great. I'll sit here forever from now on.
Can I say I've always wanted this?
Yeah.
I've argued for it for years. And any suggestion that I'm doing it as a matter of convenience is not true. I agree with Nick. Paul.
Do you want to do a rabble-rousing speech on behalf of our coalition?
I think what we offer is not them, basically. People are sick of you coming on here, making fun of the contestants, you know? Just because I'm having a bit of a hard time at the moment, lend us the price of a cup of tea, I'll give it back to you next week. I don't mean nothing, Governor. I've got me harmonica and can play that for you if you want. And I have. No, I have.
Find some change.
I have.
Are we witnessing a mental breakdown?
You do the singing and I'll do the playing.
Are you happy to stay there?
Yeah, very happy.
Yeah, OK. Let's move on, then.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying it's permanent. It may only be around.
Yeah.
We will let the public decide.
Or it may be...
Don't do that.
Forever.
OK, get on with it.
This is great. You're right in the middle of it. It's just sitting on the end like a bozo. No offence.
John and Lembit, let's see how we got here.
David Cameron.
Fish and chips.
A person. Someone.
We are
Nick
good
Clegg.
together.
Yeah. Oh, a man complaining about nuclear power, was it? Yeah, nuclear power he was complaining about.
A woman?
No, not a woman. It was Duffy. And this was a happier time for me. And a very happy time for him, because he practiced that smile probably all his life. Just for that screensaver moment.
The bitterness is just oozing out of the man.
You'd be bitter if you were me.
Yeah, I would. But I'm not, so I'm not.
You've got a feel for Gordon Brown. I mean, all he did was get into a car while mic'd for sound after having spoken to one of his loyal supporters and called her a bigoted woman. I mean, who at some point in their lives hasn't done that when they're Prime Minister?
There's no way during this campaign David Cameron hasn't got in his car after a meet and greet and gone, what a dickhead.
See, I mean, you know...
Yeah, but he didn't get caught doing it, so the word dickhead tends to apply to the Prime Minister.
They spent 40 minutes in her house saying sorry. That's a long apology. Yeah.
And she didn't
Well,
vote for him
are you
anyway.
suggesting there was something else going on? Mate, it was all a bit of a plan on his part. Call her a bigot. Pop back later. Sorry about that. Then comes out grinning. the way I read the situation politically.
You should really write porn.
Too busy living it, mate.
Now they're applauding pornography.
Pornography air crashes. This audience will applaud anything.
No wonder they couldn't come to a decisive decision at the polls.
I've got a dead kitten in my pocket. Thank you, that was great.
So, Gordon Brown is still Prime Minister despite Biddygate.
Yes.
According to the Mail on Sunday...
He might not be by the repeat.
No.
You could have David Miliband as Prime Minister, and you haven't voted for him either. Exciting, that, wouldn't it? Or Harriet Harman. Oh, no.
Seems that Harriet Harman's not as popular as a dead kitten.
What, according to the Mail on Sunday interview, went on when Gordon was inside Gillian Duffy's house?
I think
Good job,
Paul's
you
just
said.
told us.
It is not quite accurate.
It is.
Well, she said I couldn't offer him a cup of tea because I had no milk. Yeah. I had a bottle of whiskey, but I thought, I'm not opening that for him. Made for each other, really. And she eventually escaped to Canada on a plane, but who went with her?
The pilot?
No, luckily for her, she had a friendly 3 a.m. girl from the Mirror stalking her. Danielle Lawler was there to bag this particular scoop. Tucking into beef stew with boiled potatoes and peas in economy class, Mrs. Duffy said, this is the worst week of my life. I didn't ask for this. I assume she'd tick the veggie option, but I don't know. After the gaffe, what did Gordon do, according to The Sun?
Well, he had his head in his hands, didn't he, in a studio? He couldn't believe he'd been that stupid.
Well, apparently he went on an unplanned walkabout of Manchester Station. Yeah, we've all been that pissed a few times. I saw a great woman interviewed on the news, actually, during the campaign, and they said, who are you going to vote for? And she goes, oh, I don't really know yet, but is it a Labour government we've got in at the moment?
I once saw two women in W.H. Smith's pointing at a book called The History of the 20th Century. Big, thick book. And one woman sort of nervously pointed to it and said, don't get that. It's about everything.
And do you know what went wrong with Labour's relaunch after Biddygate?
Oh, there was actually a car crash.
Yeah. There was.
A metaphor became life.
Seeing as this
Your
audience
campaign...
likes a crash,
yeah.
Should we have a look at it?
You'll love this.
Creating tax fairness, making sure that our pledges...
It's actually alleged by the driver that he was bumped by the occupants of a rubbish truck shouting abuse from an adjacent roundabout. We've actually got his actual drawing of the accident from his insurance claim.
That's a good poster. Labour are not rubbish.
Now, there have been a few problems on all sides to do with presentation. There was a technical problem when William Hague appeared to be speaking with Theresa May's voice.
Oh, good. love a ventriloquist act.
Sticky moment, perhaps, on inheritance tax cut for the rich. This isn't about fairness.
No, David Cameron was very strong on substance, very strong on leadership. He showed he was prime ministerial, and he clearly showed that it's the Conservatives that have got the answers, that have got the policies that will really get them from
I think he's been told by David Cameron to sound a bit more posh.
Well, they are posh, the Tories, though, aren't they?
Oh.
Did you go to a posh school?
Yeah, minor public school, Ardingly. Yeah.
That's where all the miners go.
I think I'll have him back on my side.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Shall I do that?
fair enough.
And the coalition has fallen.
Good to be back.
Yeah, I've always said I wanted to be with you.
Yeah. Sinking ship over there, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. You too, and two.
Did anyone see some of the last-minute endorsements of the various party leaders?
Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell, Tories, obviously. Tories.
Nick Clegg obviously had Colin Firth.
Colin
Yep.
Firth.
Didn't the Labour Party have you? you
Yes.
do a video?
A video? Yes.